Hello, good evening. I am Ajit Jha, CEO of Power Pixar and editor of the Public Global. And today our focus is going to be South India, especially Tamil Nadu. And the reason is that in Tamil Nadu, in April, May of next year, which is 2026, there's going to be assembly election. You know that the chief minister for the last 5 years, from 2021, is Mr. Stalin of the DMK and in alliance with Congress and other parties. So, why are we focusing on Tamil Nadu? What is the big news? The news started with Amit Shah ji. He went for some kind of campaign in Coimbatore, and he raised one issue which has become sort of, as Tamil Nadu Chief Minister called it, Stalin called it, a sword hanging over the head of South India. And that was the NDA government's delimitation exercise. So that is one aspect. And a more important aspect is the fact that under the new education policy, the center is trying to enforce in all states a three-language formula, and they want Tamil Nadu to adopt that. Now, Stalin is completely opposed to the three-language formula because Tamil Nadu feels and Mr. Stalin feels that that is one way of imposing Hindi on Tamil Nadu. Now, let me start with this new language formula, the Tamil versus Hindi, Tamil versus Sanskrit controversy. And then halfway through, I will talk about the delimitation exercise. Why am I starting with this whole issue of uh, Hindi imposition as the southern states see it? Tamil Nadu has always had a two language formula in its government schools. They teach Tamil and English to Tamil students, and for non Tamil students, they have a choice, English and some other language. We are talking about the government schools in Tamil Nadu. This is a long tradition in Tamil Nadu. And by the way, Tamil Nadu has done exceptionally well with this particular scheme. Why? Because in terms of literacy, in terms of education, Tamil Nadu stands almost with the top five states of India, namely Kerala, Tamil Nadu. In the north, only one state goes and joins them, West Bengal. The other states are the other South Indian states, in this case, Andhra and Karnataka. So Tamil Nadu is up there. Its education policy has been rather robust. Uh, in fact, even in terms of other parameters, in terms of economic development, in terms of sort of social parameters of health and others, Tamil Nadu has always been among the top five states of India, at times among the top three. In fact, it's an industrial powerhouse. Our entire sort of automobile industrialization is most successful in Tamil Nadu. Coimbatore is one of those cities. But I will go back to this Hindi versus Tamil, Hindi versus Sanskrit versus Tamil controversy. And the thing is, Tamils have always opposed this imposition by successive Indian governments from the center, an attempt to impose Hindi and Sanskrit on the state. In fact, the history of the anti Hindi agitation goes back to 1937, as far as that. And in fact, during 1937, the chief minister at that time of the Indian National Congress government, this was pre-independence, by the way, was C. Rajgopalachari, and the opposition Justice Party, the leader was Periyar E.V. Ramaswamy. And at that time, Rajaji, in this case, Rajgopalachari ji, he wanted to impose or bring about, encourage Hindi in the government schools. And when he started that, there was a massive 3 year long agitation. And later, one of the British governors of Tamil Nadu had to withdraw this imposition of Hindi. Later on, again during 1965, because what had happened right after independence, the government had announced Hindi as the official language, but English as an associate official language for the first 15 years. When 15 years were completed, again, all over again, there was an attempt by the Congress government to impose Hindi, and another agitation began. In fact, this agitation, which basically started around 1965, and by 1967, almost 70 people had died. It was a massive anti-Hindi. There were riots all over, and finally, the successive governments of Lal Bahadur Shastri and later Indira Gandhi, they changed the amendment through amendments. They changed the policy and had both English and Hindi as official language. And in fact, later on also, during 1986, there was an attempt and some agitation. So Tamils have always been very, very sensitive to this imposition of Hindi. And one main reason is because Tamil scholars and Tamils themselves, they believe that their language is even older than Sanskrit, or at least as old as Sanskrit. There is a massive controversy among scholars on that issue. But Tamil, remember, is a living language. People even today speak Tamil all around the state, all over the world, wherever Tamilians live. Sanskrit, which at one time had this sort of privilege by the Asiatic Society, by others, even by Westerners who had discovered it. People called it the God's own language, but it was considered quote unquote a dead language, not a living language. Only the elite spoke, or it was used for religious purposes. People don't speak Sanskrit on the streets, even in North India. It's used for religious purposes all over the north, and so therefore Tamil has had an extraordinary rich literature. So has Sanskrit. But remember, Hindi hasn't had such a great history. Hindi is a more recent language. Yeah, basically, when Bharatendu Harishchandra started writing, that's when Hindi prose picked up. In fact, Mr. Stalin has attacked and Hindi, and pointed out that Hindi, because of Hindi, not only Tamil is going to suffer, but he has pointed out that Hindi, even in the north, has marginalized several regional languages of North India. In fact, he has named quite a few: Maithili, Bhojpuri, Maghi, Mundari, Bundelkhandi, Braj, Awadhi, Kanauji, Garhwali, Kumauni, and he has almost said 25 regional languages have suffered. Now, is that charge correct? Is the charge that Hindi has marginalized North Indian regional languages? Yogendra Yadav doesn't agree. In fact, he has written an open letter to Stalin saying that that is not true. He has said that most of these are dialects. I disagree strongly with Yogendra Yadav. I come from Bihar. My mother tongue is Maithili. Maithili is much, much more richer any time than Hindi. It has 1300 years history. In fact, Vidyapati, the Maithili poet, the irony of it is that he was translated by Ananda Kumaraswamy in English, not by any North Indian, and by Rabindranath Tagore. So he has written both in Sanskrit and in Mithalakshar. And the script of Maithili, which I can read, because I can read Bangla and I can read the Mithalakshar script, was officially changed by the Bihar government under pressure of this Hindi imposition. So from Mithalakshar, the script changed to Devanagari. And as a result, even today, and for I would say almost more than 100 years, there is an agitation by Maithili speaking people, which are 5 crore in number, to form the Mithila state. They want to restore their literature, they want to restore their Maithili identity. Similar is the situation with Bhojpuri. And remember, Maithili is spoken not only all over Bihar. In fact, Biharis are spread all over the country, all over the world. You come to Delhi and I think 1/3 of Delhi speaks Maithili. And on top of that, Nepal, the entire southern Nepal speaks Maithili. Similar is the situation of Bhojpuri. Bhojpuri is spoken by more than 5 crore people. In fact, if you take India and abroad, Bhojpuri is spoken by almost, I would say, close to 8 to 10 crores. There are different estimates. And even today, it is not considered an official language, which is a real shame, because Bhojpuri cinema, Bhojpuri literature, which is a very alive literature. I can speak Bhojpuri, I can speak Maithili. I read Maithili in Mithalakshar and in Devanagari. Extraordinary rich literature, much, much richer than Hindi. In fact, some of the great Hindi writers were actually, they started writing in Maithili first. They were forced to switch to Hindi, just like Premchand wrote his Seva Sadan in Urdu and was forced to write in Hindi. Similarly, Baba Nagarjun, one of the most brilliant writers in Hindi, began first writing in Maithili as Yatriji. His poems and his writings in Maithili are as brilliant as his later writings in Hindi. So this point that Hindi has not marginalized regional languages is totally inaccurate. It has. Mundari, it's a tribal language. Several other languages of the north have been marginalized, and this whole sort of Maithili, as I pointed out, is now as considered sort of one of the 22 languages after a long agitation. The Maithils fought for it all across Bihar, all across the country, but Bhojpuri is still not among the 22 of languages of national languages of India. They are still fighting that agitation. This is totally unfair. Hindi, I read Hindi. I love Hindi writers, but it's an identity issue. I love Bengali because I grew up in Bengal. I can read and write Bengali. I can read and write Hindi. I can read and write Maithili, Bhojpuri, and English, and to some extent even Arabic. And because I stayed for a while in the Arab world, and I even tried to learn Italian. So it's not that one cannot talk in various languages, but you cannot use and impose a language on the country in the name of official link language. And if that is the case, why can't English be the official link language for the southern states and for people like us? I have been trained in English, and I am more comfortable in English in writing, let's say, compared to Hindi. I can speak Hindi with an equal flair, but my entire training in journalism and at the university was in English. And that is the case with quite a number of Indians. And English is as much an Indian language today as Hindi, as Maithili, as Bengali, as Tamil, as some of the other languages we are talking about. So I wanted to make this point very, very clear. But let me switch to the other issue because we are running out of time. And that is the NDA government's attempt to start a delimitation exercise. Now, almost 50 years have gone since the last delimitation was done. And the problem is that, as I said, Stalin said that the delimitation exercise is a sword hanging over the head of South India. Several other chief ministers of the South has opposed the delimitation exercise. Why? Because they are afraid that delimitation is done on the basis of population increase. And the population increase of South India is much less because of better population control compared to North India. Now, that is because Southern India is much more developed economically, educationally, and otherwise. So, they are, in a way, they are the what one would call the engine of India's growth, and they are the ones they fear they'll be hurt because of the delimitation exercise. In fact, Stalin has pointed out that Tamil Nadu would lose Lok Sabha representation from 39 seats to 31 seats, and some of the other states as well, Kerala, Karnataka, and other states are going to lose out. In fact, the fear is that Karnataka would lose from 28 to 26 seats, Andhra from 42 to 34 seats, Kerala from 20 to 12 seats, and so on and so forth. Of course, Andhra Pradesh is now Telangana and Andhra. However, let me point out that Amit Shah, during his Coimbatore speech, while addressing party workers, promised that the southern states will not lose even a single seat. He said Prime Minister Narendra Modi will not reduce even a single seat pro rata. And he also added that any kind of increase that will take place in the number of seats, given the fact that in the north, the population increase is quite a lot, he's going to ensure that the southern states will get a fair share of that. Now, that is just a promise. What will happen, we'll talk about it later, because in the same exercise, he went on attacking Stalin's government as anti-people, as anti-national. He also said, DMK, and I quote Amit Shahji, DMK is one party with a master's degree in corruption. So this is a basically rhetorical election campaign speech. Imagine the election is next year in April, May, and the campaign has almost already begun. He has pointed out that Tamil Nadu's law and order has become low. Now, the irony is, if you take all the states together in India and start a comparison, it's actually UP, Bihar, and some of the so-called Bimaru states, which are lowest in terms of most indicators, including law and order. Tamil Nadu, as I pointed out, and I have done this exercise since the year 2003, the state of the state conclaves, comparing each and every state, comparing different districts in each state. Tamil Nadu's record is one of the best. In fact, if you Tamils abroad have done extremely well in the diaspora. Remember Bill Gates' statement that the best people one should hire in the private sector are Tamils. So Tamil Nadu's record is already so high. It's fine for Mr. Shah of the BJP to attack Stalin during an election meeting, but when he's doing that, he should look at the northern states, the status of the northern states in most of these indicators, whether it is education. Again, Bihar and UP almost at the bottom of the ladder, and so is Jharkhand and several other northern states, including Rajasthan, Madhya Pradesh, and all. Right now, most of them are being sort of ruled by the BJP. It's the same record when it comes to crime, when it comes to several other indicators. It's possible that Tamil Nadu might have slipped a notch or two during the last 5 years. And I'm not saying everything that Stalin did is perfect, but this issue, according to me, this imposition of Hindi over Tamils is politically going to benefit only one party, according to me, DMK. Why? Because the whole of Tamil Nadu is behind DMK on this issue. And if the BJP is thinking of an alliance with Anna DMK. Anna DMK again will not try and sort of take a pro Hindi imposition stand on Tamil Nadu because they'll get wiped out. So it's such a popular issue that Stalin very intelligently has harped on it, and he is going to ensure that he comes back to power next year, and regardless of anti-incumbency, on this very emotional issue of Tamil identity, Tamil and English as the language of the government schools. It is true that in some of the private schools where they have more resources, they teach a third language. And if they have enough students to read there, they might study Hindi or some other language. But in the government schools, Tamil Nadu has followed the old formula of English and Tamil, and they want to continue. I'll end here. We'll have more of such videos in the future because, as I said, the elections are more than a year from today. But let me point out, final answer, I think English should continue as the official language along with Hindi in India. And the reason is we are living in a globalized world. Most Indians get jobs if they know English. I have traveled across UP and Bihar. The youngsters over there who don't know English, they are dying to learn English. They go, if the schools don't teach, they go into YouTube to learn English. Sashi Tharoor, for example, is one of the most popular personality I found in the villages of North Bihar and Uttar Pradesh. And the reason why, because he speaks English very eloquently. So I think the government should rethink. We Indians have an advantage over the Chinese when we compete with them abroad in terms of English. So why cannot English stay as the link language of India along with Hindi as it is going on in the north? Let me conclude here. Thank you very much. Do share our, the Public Global and the Power Pixar. Thank you very much. Bye.